What's up, Midnight Strikers? I am back for another review, back from the dead, or so it would seem, as I haven't uploaded a video in quite some time. A trend I am hopefully going to be rectifying here once I get a little bit more spare time to actually record these things. So, today I'm going to be reviewing a Three Doors Down album called Us and the Night. This is their new album that released on the same day as Killswitch Engage's Incarnate, the last album I reviewed, and I was actually going to cover them in the same day, which was St. Patrick's Day, and it was already late. But I don't really have a lot of time to be doing this, and I don't really follow Three Doors Down that closely, as I do consider them mainly a singles band that puts out good music, but the majority of the album, aside from the singles, isn't as good, or it's fluff to kind of prop up the singles, basically. That was the case with their last couple albums, all the way back to even Away from the Sun and their first album, The Better Life. I mean, they are the very definition of a singles band. You got all the great songs like Kryptonite, Duck and Run, Be Like That, Away from the Sun, When I'm Gone, When You're Young, Every Time You Go, but all of those were made for radio airplay. You can definitely tell which ones were thrown in there for filler and which ones were crafted for radio airplay. Such as the case, flash forward to 2016, a whopping 5 years after their last album came out, Time of My Life, and we have ourselves with Us and the Night. This is an album that I really didn't know about. As I said before, I don't follow the band that closely at all, but my girlfriend decided we needed something refreshing, something different, something other than the screaming and the metalcore, the heavy metal, the hard rock, AC/DC, Metallica, Killswitch Engage, Trivium, something a little bit fresh that we haven't really listened to in a long time. So she decided when we were on our way to Minnesota on a long-ass road trip that we were going to find something different. So we went to the CD section, and she picked this one out. I had no idea that this album existed until I got it, and then I got home and found out it was actually released on the same day as Incarnate, and it piqued my interest. I decided to listen to it on the way, and what do you know? It's actually somewhat decent. It really did surprise me. Upon first listen, I didn't really give it much thought, as a couple of the primary musicians are different on this album. There was a lot of hiring, a lot of firing, and a lot of controversy surrounding the departure of, I believe it was the bassist and one of the guitarists. Like I said, I don't really follow the band that closely, but there's definitely a different twist to this album. Yes, you could chalk it up to the trends, what's going on right now in the pop scene, you know, with bands like Nickelback, who used to actually have post-grunge roots, are now going on pop radio. So you could attribute to that, accredit it to that, but I like to consider it a different trend, or at least them trying to freshen up their sound, which doesn't necessarily work all that well on this album, all things considered, as even though it sounds completely different and revitalized from their previous sound, which had single rock radio airplay written all over it, with songs like It's Not My Time and Citizen Soldier, which are two great songs, by the way, but they don't really add a lot of diversity in this album in the structures, because structurally they all sound quite similar to their past works, with the exception of maybe The Broken and In the Dark, which In the Dark actually sounds like it could be on a Finger 11 CD, to be honest, and I really like that song. I really like the actual music video for it, because it includes the actor R.J. Mitte for Walter Jr., which was kind of funny, you know, knowing where he came from and all that. So, yeah, that was kind of funny. In the Dark, you know, it has kind of a cliche lyrical structure. She likes to do it in the dark, you know, but if you can get past that, it's actually kind of a fun listen. You know, there's a lot of cliches on this album. Come on, let's all enjoy the ride. It's only us and the night. You know, it's just, there's cliche after cliche after cliche. Everybody's got the right to change. I never said that I would. But it's actually got a nice catch to it, and it's actually kind of addicting and fun to listen to, and really that's what this album is trying to accomplish. The only problem is you can tell which songs Three Doors Down intended to be the singles. The title track, The Broken, In the Dark, Believe It is another one that they were maybe trying to singleize, but as of right now, In the Dark is the only single and probably will continue to be but you can definitely tell which ones they intended to promote the living shit out of with this album. Now, is that a bad thing necessarily? No. Is that really contradictory to the rest of the album and the message you're trying to send? Maybe. And that's really where this album fails. Three Doors Down's Us and the Night. That, and it took so long for us to get here just to get a same piece of the pie. Basically the same flavor, with a few new sprinkles added on top. That's what this feels like. But, hey, what can I do? If you're a big fan of this band, if you're a big fan of Three Doors Down, you will eat this thing up like ice cream and drink it like coffee if you're a coffee drinker. I am a coffee drinker myself, or these things, which I am strangely addicted to right now. Thank you. My girlfriend got me addicted to these. Strawberry lemonade, American ice, sparkling ice. They're even healthy for you. So, trying to lose weight. These things right here, it's actually working for me a little bit. Anyways, this is an average album. I did enjoy listening to it. It was better listening to it, at my house versus on the road where you got the tires and everything, the noise in the background, and it's really hard to understand what they're saying and everything, but you know how that is. It's an average listen. I would say, unless you're a huge fan of the band, you're not really going to find a lot to appreciate, and if you're just trying to get into them, I'd probably recommend their older albums. So I'm going to give this one probably a 7 out of 10, because I did enjoy listening to it, and the sound of it, like the instruments themselves, give a whole new twist to an otherwise stale sound, because honestly, every single album after The Better Life sounded almost exactly 100% the same. And this kind of does a little bit to throw a little bit of something extra into the mix. But as far as the structure goes, you're not going to find too much that's different here, or that really stands out on its own as being better than all the rest, a cut above the rest of the albums per se. So, 7 out of 10. That's my final rating. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.